is time to begin. We greet all who joined in. When speakers rise with purpose clear, their words can move the heart and ear. We speak to spark, to lift, to guide, to plant strong thoughts that grow inside. But power fades when meaning slips, when message blurs between the lips. That's why evaluations shine. They show the cracks between each line. They tell us what the audience heard, where strength rang true, where truth was blurred. So good turns great when insights flow. Expect results and watch us grow. Our theme is bold, but it's not tricky. So lead us on, Resident Vicky.
Now, how did I know she was going to end with a rhyme to Vicky? How nice was that? Welcome, everyone. We have a couple of guests. If you, our guests, could come onto the camera, that would be great. We'd love to see your faces. And there you are. Hello, is it Tarat?
Yes.
Hi, Tarat. Where are you calling in from? And how did you find us?
Calling from Massachusetts, and I heard from you from Traka
What? Yeah.
So that was
from a friend.
Oh, how nice. Well, welcome. Are you a Toastmaster?
Yes, my club is in Massachusetts.
And how long have you been in Toastmasters?
2 years.
Oh, congratulations. Well, welcome to our club. We hope you enjoy it. We are a Masters of Evaluation, and we pride ourselves, I would say, on evaluation. So hopefully you can learn today and be called on for table topics. Would you be willing if you're called on?
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Nicole Howerton, can you come onto the screen? Oh, there you are. Hello.
Hi, good afternoon.
Where are you calling in from?
I am calling in from Stamford, Connecticut.
Oh, nice. And how did you find us?
I attended one of your meetings. A fellow Toastmaster had invited me, I want to say a while ago, maybe early last year.
I was going to say, I don't remember you, so my apologies. I would have said, welcome back, but I couldn't because I didn't know. Anyway, welcome. Thank you for coming.
Mm-hmm.
And now I would like to turn the meeting over before we go to our Toastmaster to our VP of Education, Dr. Gwendolyn Avington. Dr. Gwendolyn, please.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are joining us from, fellow Toastmasters. This Pathways educational moment is all about a call to action. If I had a voice, I would have started this with, we're halfway there. We have been talking about Smedley Distinguished all year long. We are at the point that we have 5 out of the 10 DC points done. So we are distinguished, but we want to go higher. We want to move up is the goal in mind. So my call to action before I get off the stage is that you would rise to the occasion and get us there. We need, and I'm going to put the need out there, and I'm going to follow it with emails over the next couple of days. Not emails that are to be ignored, not emails that it's, oh, that's that Masters of Evaluation VPE, but to answer me back so that we together can meet the goal of Smedley by June 30th, 2026. Here's what we need. We need 4 level 1s completed. There are several in our group that are halfway there as well. Let's get this done. We also need 3 level 2s. And there are several of us that are at that level at this time. We also need 2 level 3s. And Sandra, shout out. I did get your level 3 and approved it. Thank you very much for that. And once we get those, and then 3 new members. 3 new members. We have 2 visitors here today. Nod, nod, wink, wink, Tamara and Trudy. We need 3. And then we will be there at the finish line, meeting the goal that we set up in our club success plan. Help us get there. Everyone is of value in this meeting and in our club so that we can get results. Back to you, Madam President.
Woo! Who's been in church? Can I get an amen? Amen, sister. Thank you. You know, we started 4 years ago now. We've been President's Distinguished every year. We've never been Smedley. Let's get us a little Smedley on the books. Thank you very much, Dr. Gwendolyn. And now, without further ado, I would like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Sandra Savage.
Good morning. Today is all about expecting results. I know I have gone up to the podium in the past, and I'm curious to find out how many of you, not knowing ahead of time if you're going to be successful, worrying. Well, when you get your speeches evaluated by advanced Toastmasters here at Masters of Evaluation, you'll be able to take the stage with confidence, to know that your message of influence, persuasion, education, or even John White and Bryce Sweeney, our 2 local comedians, with humor, you will have confidence to go up and deliver your message. Put in the appropriate amount of pauses, let your audience enjoy the time, and walk off feeling even better. Now, before we begin our meeting, I would like to call up my partner in crime, Victoria James, to go over her evaluation team, and then we'll start after that with our speeches. Victoria. Oops.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening. I'm going to be the general evaluator today, and the first thing I'm going to do is introduce the speech evaluators. So we have Pamela Brody, who recently won the C1 International Contest. She got first place. Vicki Trabosh, our club president, distinguished Toastmaster and co-founder of this club, and Ray Sweeney, who is a veteran Toastmaster, motivational speaker coming to us from Spain, but originally from Ireland. Back to you, Sandra.
Thank you. And let's introduce a couple more people in your team. We have John Graham today, who's going to be our timer. And John, if you haven't noted already, William's speech is 4 to 6 minutes. Lynn and Mary Pryor, if she shows, are 5 to 7 minutes. Then we're going to go into a round of really fun table topics, and we do it differently here because we evaluate our table topics as well. I'll be handing out a sheet in just a minute for how that runs. And we also are in need. Anyone want to volunteer? Yes, Victoria.
I got it.
You're going to be our grammarian and word of the day?
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have your word ready?
I do.
Please share.
Well, I don't want to obfuscate my role. That's the word, obfuscate. Render something unclear. As speakers, we should not obfuscate our message. I put it in chat. I'll put it as a reminder, but I want you to find a way to use the word obfuscate. Obfuscate. Easy for me to say with my mouth. We can do this. And I'll also be listening for verbal clutches and turns of phrase that I find particularly moving. Back to you, Madam President, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. That's a great word to go along with today's message. Expect results. And just before we begin, I want to give you a little note. Today is special. Not only is it the first of spring, but I wrote down a couple national holidays for you to consider. Astrology Day. I don't believe in it. I believe we make our own luck. And so today we're going to expect you to do your best, not put it in the hands of the stars, but become the star. It's also World Storytelling Day, and I'm hoping we'll hear some great stories along the way in our speeches. And at the end of the meeting for our guests, and I'll repeat this later, if you would like to join me in a breakout room, we can chat a little bit more about the club, get to know you, and find out where we can meet in the middle. But at this time, I'm going to switch into speaker mode, and we're going to introduce our first speaker. And to do that, we're going to have the evaluator for that speaker tell us all about, well, Pamela, tell us about William.
Wow. Good morning, everybody. I don't have anything that I received, so I will tell you about William. And William has come to us and joined us recently. A wonderful young man who has many aspirations and is taking the ability and desire for him to grow and joining us and making his time. So, unless there was an intro, I did not receive an intro to this speech.
Well, this is William's first speech with us, which we call the icebreaker, where he gets a chance to introduce himself to us. So, William, if the floor is all yours.
Well, thank you very much. I'll go ahead and just keep it simple since this is my first time, and let's go ahead and start. My name is William Burt, and I want to start with a question. One I've been asking myself a lot lately. What does it mean to be an adult? I'm turning 30 next month, and I'll be honest with you. 30 felt like a freight train coming at me for a while. I've spent the last month or two mulling over the fact that I'm really here. Society has this funny way of making you feel like adulthood is this big, scary endeavor, but it's not. And we should never feel too anxious about what lies ahead. Let me take you back. I grew up right here in Southern California. Middle class, suburban summer breaks were heaven. The neighborhoods were alive, with the high-pitched hollers of kids shouting down the street for each other to come over. The world felt tiny, and everything that happened during those days felt important. Everything everyone said was so much more interesting. The internet hadn't quite changed the world, and people acted with decency and dignity. And I did a lot. I survived public school, I coached tennis, I coached gymnastics, I counseled kids at summer camp up in the San Bernardino Mountains, I worked as a bookkeeper, and right now, I serve as a treasurer for my neighborhood council, managing public funds for the community that I grew up in. It's a winding road, but here's what I've learned. Every single one of those experiences was building something in me, even when I couldn't see the blueprint. Which brings me to where I am today. I'm in university. I'm studying financial planning at Cal State Northridge, and I will graduate in 2027. When people ask me why finance, I usually just say I like numbers. But the real answer is game theory. Game theory is a study of strategic decision making, how rational people make choices when the outcome depends not just on what you do, but what everyone else is doing as well. It's the math behind negotiation, cooperation, competition, and trust. And the moment I encountered game theory, something clicked. Because life is a game. Not in a cynical way, but in the sense that we're all constantly trying to make decisions with incomplete information, trying to predict what other people are going to be doing, and trying to cooperate, trying to win. Financial planning, to me, is applied game theory. It's helping real people make strategic decisions about their futures with the information they have right now. And that's a game and a life worth living. Outside of school, you'll find me in my garage. I'm a carpenter. There is something that happens when you take raw wood or materials, you measure it, you cut it, you join it, and watch it become a table or a garden bed or a bookshelf. The noise in your head that's asking for you to do something productive goes quiet. The abstract becomes concrete. Things get better, and you become a little more capable. I think a lot of people in the modern world are starving for that experience. The experience of making something with your hands that didn't exist before you showed up. Carpentry has taught me patience. It taught me that good work takes time, that you measure twice and cut once, and that the projects that you rush are the projects that fail. I try to carry those lessons into everything that I do. And that brings me to the thing I care about the most. Maybe the thing that took me the longest to learn. I used to chase. I think most of us do. We chase status, validation, achievement, the next milestone. And there's nothing wrong with ambition. I have plenty of it. But somewhere along the way, I realized I was spending my best energy on mirages. On things that kept moving the moment that I got close. What doesn't move? The people right in front of you. Family, friends, and community. The people who knew you before you had anything to show for yourself and will still be there if it all falls apart. I made a decision, maybe my most important one, to focus my God-given energy on those who are near and dear to me. Not perfectly, but intentionally. Because when I'm 80 and I look back, I don't think I'll wish I'd chased harder at goals that I'll never see. I think I'll be grateful for every moment I chose to be present with the people who matter. I'm William Burt. I build tables, study money, and I just gave a speech about game theory to a room full of strangers, which, if you think about it, is the most strategic thing I've done all week. Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Fantastic. Let's give an extra round of applause, not only for an icebreaker, but an award-winning icebreaker. That was excellent. Excellent. John, you've got a minute on the clock. If you would, if you have a comment, you can send it directly to William, private chat, or put it in the general chat to give him some feedback. And please do, as this is his first speech to our club. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, it appears that our second speaker has decided to go out and pick tulips or do something springish and is not with us this morning. So we're going to jump ahead, and I've been anxiously waiting this anyway, to hear from Lynn Gilbert. And Ray, you're her evaluator. Would you please give us her introduction?
I'd love to, thanks. I was busy typing away a little bit of feedback to William, but I'm happy to jump in. My pleasure to introduce Lynn, who is a pioneering photographer and storyteller who captured the essence of extraordinary women of the 20th century. Her journey began in 1976 with a defining portrait of artist Louise Nevelson, opening doors to document other remarkable women. Despite limited resources, Lynn sought to represent diverse, overlooked figures of the women's movement, collaborating with librarians and experts. Her groundbreaking book, Particular Passions, in 1981, features portraits and first-person stories of women who overcame barriers in a male-dominated world. Gilbert's work reminds us to embrace the unknown, stay open to adventure, and celebrate the transformative power of passion and perseverance. The title of her speech is From Limbo to Legit, and this is a custom speech, but it will be 5 to 7 minutes. The stage will be yours. I give you Lynn Gilbert from Limbo to Legit. From Limbo to Legit, Lynn Gilbert.
I just want to check. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
And you can see the picture.
Now we see you.
And we see you.
Lynn.
Okay. You know what? I have the screen on. Vicky, do you want to? Okay.
Do you want me to run it?
Yes, you run it. I can't do it.
All righty, let me start.
Okay.
There you go. Can you see it?
Okay. First of all, I want to say to William, it's a brilliant speech. And you're in your 20s. I'm 88. So I'm speaking to you, all of you, from somebody who's had the experience of what William has addressed. I'm talking about limbo to legit. And I think it's something that we all go through, that as William said, you wonder, where are you going? And I'm sharing with you my experience. I started as a children's photographer. Vicky, do you want to do number 3?
Yes, you can. If you just want to raise a pen, I'll see it and I'll.
Okay. All right. I started as a children's photographer, and I had wanted to be a fashion designer, and it didn't work. And then I thought I would go in art history, and I realized that I wasn't going to be a scholar. So I had photographed my children, and then I decided I wanted to go into school. Vicky, get on number 4 for me. This one, okay. I wanted to photograph my children in school, and the way that I did it was to raise money for the school by photographing other children. And I observed their individuality. I was able to learn a craft, and by the time I was done, which was probably about 7 years, I had photographed about 800 kids. The next thing that I decided to do is to photograph my own children. You have to be on number 5, Vicky. Be on 5.
Is this 5?
It's I think I can do it. Okay. Can you see 2 children with the farm? There's a Lego farm on the right side.
There you go.
Okay. So I photographed my children, and I realized that I wanted to get into doing children in an environmental backward. Next picture. The pictures that I did next were photographing children all over the city in different socioeconomic backgrounds. I did 107 families. And the way that I got there was to go to schools throughout the city and ask the headmasters if I could get into the classrooms to pick the children. Next one. I needed to get feedback. And the way that I got feedback was to going to 2 different people. One of them was Arnie Glimcher, who had the Pace Gallery. Today it's a huge international group of galleries. And I said to Arnie, what do you think of the pictures? And he said, I want you to do my children. The second person that I went to was Arnold Newman, who had done all the presidents and had done Stravinsky. And he said to me, these pictures are the best that he's seen since Lewis Carroll. Next picture. This expanded my horizon. Next picture. And Arnie Glimcher said to me, do Louise Nevelson. Nevelson at the time was probably one of the foremost artists of the 20th century. The problem was I was an unknown children's photographer who had never formally photographed an adult. My goal was getting the best that I could, and the only way that I could do it was to test friends and have them come over to my house and photograph adults. And once I felt comfortable, I went to photograph her. And I'm going to show you on this one picture so you understand what I do with a portrait. What I'm looking to do is capture both character and get somebody in their own environment and reflect, as in this instance, this is a reflection of the art that she does. It's layered, it's opaque, and you don't really connect. But if you look at the art, she reflects the art and the art reflects her. Next picture. I had decided then to do a book on women. And I figured that I didn't know who to pick. So I went to the library and I had librarians help me decide I wanted an accurate representation of ethnic and professional diversity, which I couldn't do. They helped me pick the disciplines, and then I got to 3 experts in each field. And I have 47 women. There was no publisher, I had no publisher, and there was no internet. And it was like going into a black hole. The only list was women of accomplishment, and they were women who had married successful men. Next picture. Then I'm going to show you several of the women that are in the book. Next picture. That's, as you see, Billie Jean King, Julia Child. You can go to next picture. And ultimately, I published the book. It took 5 years. What happened is, as I photographed them, the stories they told me became so important, and I knew that they had not been published from the articles, that I had read on them. And I had to get a writer that would use these stories. I got a writer, I had a publisher, I fired her, and I went through 30 writers until I got somebody that was going to do what I wanted. This book went into 623 libraries worldwide, including Harvard, Princeton, and Yale. Next one. What made me legit, and you can go to the next one after that, is that I got them into 142 newspapers. 10 were syndicated by the Los Angeles Times and Chicago Tribune, 23 radio shows, 15 speaking engagements, and 19 TV shows. And it actually, when you talk about, William, when you talk about becoming legit, this took 40-some years. And this article that you see here was from the Washington Post, which said that the book was revolutionary for shedding light on the accomplishments of women. Next picture. When Arnie Glimcher called me up, and this was actually a couple of years ago, he said, we'd like to use your portrait of Nevelson and the Biennale. He said, is it okay? Yeah, is it okay? It's okay. Next picture. So the Procuria is a building in Venice that this is the first time in 500 years that an exhibit has appeared in it. There were 2. One of them was the Nevelson show. 17 million people were in Venice. Next picture. 17 million people were in Venice. 800,000 go to the Biennale. And the big payoff was the article in Art News, which wrote about the exhibition. And the first 4 paragraphs were about my portrait. And they said this was the face of the Venice Biennale. Now, I'm sure most of you don't know, like I didn't know, and I've been involved for art for years, that the Biennale is the most important art event in the art world. It was over 129 years, and it's the equivalent of the Olympics. And this is the first time that one portrait became the face of the Venice Biennale. So, yes, I feel legitimate now, but I've also had tons of failure, and it's struggling through what doesn't work, and you just keep going. And one of the things that I learned out of all of this is don't focus on recognition, don't focus on money, focus, as William said, focus on what you're doing. And for me, it's learning and having learned to get the joy out of whatever I do. So I want to offer you a chapter. If you look at the QR code and you take the QR code, you can get a chapter from the book. And I have to tell you, it's really wonderful. You know, this is going back now almost 50 years. I've reread some of the chapters. Now they're translated into Spanish, French, and German, and they're on Amazon. They go for $1, but they're really wonderful. So if you want to read a story, go to the Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It will move you. It's very touching. So I thank you, and I'm happy to share my story. And I hope that those of you who are young, who are going to go through experiences, or wonder where you're going, you just have to keep going.
Thank you. Let's give a round of applause for Lynn. What a life. Not just an occupation, but what a wonderful life. John, Graham, would you please put 1 minute on the clock for us to either privately or in the group chat send our comments to Lynn? I also took a quick screenshot of her QR code for those of you who would like to link to her Kindle release.
And can you tell me, I want to know, how do I read these? Because I don't know how to do this. Or if you...
Can you go to chat?
Yes, okay.
Open chat.
Okay. Okay, I don't know where to see it. Okay, if somebody can, Sandra, if you can copy it for me, because I don't know how to get it.
I will take care of you, Lynn.
Okay, thanks.
Sandra, you can't see her private messages. Should we all put it in the regular chat so she can?
Please, thank you, Pamela, thank you.
1 minute.
Put all your comments to Lynn in the public chat, and I'll make sure that she gets them.
Thank you. I appreciate
Sandra, do
it.
you want me to restart that? We're beyond 1 minute now.
Yes, I think, plus the entire talk was so fascinating. I don't know how you can share your thoughts in a minute. It looks as if everybody has sent in their comments to Lynn. So at this time, you are in for a treat, our guests and our members, because this is now Table Topics with SNAP evaluations. And I just put into the chat, by the way, 2 days ago, I didn't have a voice, so I'm glad it's almost back. I put into the chat how we do SNAP evaluations, but let me describe it for you. John, who is quite witty and wise, will ask any of you, a question. Usually, most of us kind of check out for a little bit at that point, but not here, because you may be called upon it without any notice to give a 1 minute evaluation back to the respondent. This is not a continuation of their story, but it's giving them feedback. For example, let's say you're at a party, a social get-together, and you're meeting people for the first time, and they speak. You get these thought bubbles, but you often don't say them. Here we're asking you to kindly wrap those thought bubbles into feedback so that we can all improve not only our impromptu speaking, but also our social interactions, which is my number one thing I need to work on because I stay at home all day, every day. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to John. And John, I just want to say that you get to answer up to 2 minutes to one of John's questions. And you give your evaluation of the answer in 1 minute. So you got that, John Graham? So we're timing 2 and 1.
Got it.
Thank you. Take it away, John.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, you cannot check out, is what Sandra said. This is the basically hotel MoE. It's even worse in Hotel California. There you can check out, but you can never leave. Here you can't check out, you can't leave. And I think Nicole and Trot, you said you're open to table topics? Did I hear that right? Beautiful. Doing the math, there's 30 minutes, there's 12 of us. I will be asking each of you at least 2 to 3 times. I'm just joking. Anyway, it's going to be a great session. This has to do with results. My first question, describe a time when the journey mattered more than the result. The journey mattered more than the result. I could ask any one of you. That's the part about being checked in. Dr. Gwen, you smiled the broadest. You looked at me directly.
A time when the journey mattered more than the result. My journey to leadership as an only. Most of the time I walked into a room as the only. You expect me to say the only Black. But I'm going to say, while that's true, the only woman in the room. I walked in about 3 years ago to the Pacific Northwest Software Quality Conference Group, a group of engineers, something I knew nothing about. Now, I can do data because my background is in healthcare as a clinical laboratory scientist, and I have a doctorate in health administration. So I can do the numbers with the best of them. But engineering, with all that entails, and you walk in the room as a woman, and it's like, why are you here? A man even asked me, why did you join us from the clinical laboratory? And oh, I took him to task. He's never asked me that question again. So the journey mattered more than the result of being there 4 years, well respected, taking on chair roles in this organization, because I stepped up to the plate, not knowing how the journey would go, but saying, I'm here to stay, and I'm going to follow this to a completion. Just like Lynn said in her speech, you have to finish going from limbo or not knowing to becoming legitimate. And if you stay the course, you can be found to be legitimate, just as I did in that group. Back to you, Mr. Table Topic.
Well done. Took the full 2 minutes. No, not much obfuscation whatsoever. Mr. Sweeney, a snap evaluation in 1 minute, and please include an impression and a suggestion, and we know you will not retell the table topic. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, John. Mr. Table Topics Master. Dr. Gwendolyn, I love the way you set it up. You set it up with a bit of humor about yourself. You then delved into the story and told us about your history, 3 years in the engineers. And that was the ethos part of the table topic, your credibility. So you even managed to get that in there as well. The message that we took away from this was how you stepped up. And you ended by summarizing it with today's meeting. Expect results and look for the completion. And that's how you went full circle. What can I give you as some feedback to work on? Oh, you're just ticking all the boxes, your pronunciation, your vocal variety, your delivery, it's all tick, tick, tick. I would say go back to humor. If anything, add a little bit more, just inject a little bit more just to break the ice with us at the beginning. Apart from that, fantastic. Back to you, John.
Thank you very much. I see we have a new guest, Paul Gilbert. I imagine you're related to Lynn Gilbert? If you could unmute.
I'm so sorry. Yes,
That's
that's
right.
an accurate guess. I am
You'll-
indeed here, unfortunately, because of the shift in the time from 9 to about now. Unfortunately, I can't stay. I shifted a meeting that I had so I could watch my mother's talk, so I have asked if she could kindly record it so I could still hear it.
She showed a picture of you, and we just want to say officially, the years have been very kind. They've been very kind. Age well. All right, so you're exercising the family exemption to the table topics. We'll have our council look into that and get back to you. Good to see you. Enjoy the stay, the visit. Okay, we are now on to our next question. Are results more important than intentions? Are results more important than intentions in leadership? I've always respected this woman's mind and her thoughts about things. Victoria James, what do you think about that? Intentions and
I
leadership.
could feel this one coming right at me. For me, it's pretty straightforward. Results matter more than intention, especially in leadership. You have, and I relate to Gwen in that I took a technical position and was sometimes the only woman in the room getting, well, men might attempt to show me up at the beginning just to see what I was made of. In order for me to establish credibility with my teams, or when I went into a new environment, such as I would walk into Caterpillar and be faced with a room of engineers who were building the most innovative things you've ever seen. These precision, you see robots and arms before we really, way before the AI era. And what mattered was that when they asked me a question about how their software was going to work, or my team came to me and said, I have this customer on the phone and they're really getting enraged because the software is not working. What each and every one of those people who depended on me needed was the confidence to know that I had their back. And that meant always checking things before I opened my mouth and gave them a declarative, this is true. And when you treat your team that way, when you treat your environment that way, you develop that level of trust that everybody knows that they're going to succeed with you behind them. Thank you. Back to you, John.
Well done. Looking for a snap evaluation. Nicole, would you like to take this one on?
Sure. Victoria, I really enjoyed your breakdown of what it looks like when deciding whether intention or results matter. You provided a great description and related it to your personal and professional experience. You were clear and concise, and I felt drawn in to really relate to what you were describing. I think it was great. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for your response. I'm going to share another question. It may sound like the other question, but we're good listeners, and it's not. This is not about leadership in this instance. This might be interpersonal. Should people be judged more on effort or results? We're not talking about intentions here. We're talking about judging people by efforts or results. Sandra Savage, what do you think about that?
Just like Victoria, I knew that one was coming my way. And I'm going to take on the strength that Victoria portrayed in her answer, in that both efforts and results are important, but at the end of the day, it's how you feel. And I'm not a touchy-feely kind of gal, but I think it's really important for people to feel a sense of success so that they come back tomorrow and try again. We learn, we make mistakes. Even me, I know it's hard to believe, but I make mistakes. And I stood many a time with my corner in the nose when I was a kid for getting in trouble. But did that mean my parents stopped loving me? No. Did I learn something from that? Don't do it again. Or as a grown-up, how can I do better? And so I go on, they both are important, results and effort, because they are your encouragement for the next day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You spoke about failure. Lynn Gilbert, did you want to give a snap evaluation of that?
I would love to talk about failure. I think that
I'm sorry, just that, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd like you to respond to Sandra's evaluation table topic, not a general icebreaker about failure.
Sandra, it's very impressive that you can reveal your vulnerability and you can acknowledge publicly that you've gone through this experience, because what helps us all is to know that somebody who has accomplished as much as you have, that you can look at the reality that from the time you were little, you had your nose wherever it was, and that you could move on and that you could face it. And the other thing that I feel that you've revealed, failure is a major part of living. And that because you've probably arrived at what you've arrived at, it's because you've gone through these periods. If you don't go through it, you don't have a sense of who you are, and you've made that very clear.
That was brilliant. Did you see how she pivoted from a perceived question about what do you think about failure to what did you think about this particular person's sharing? Well done, Lynn. I've got a question. Should companies focus more on short-term or long-term results? Should companies focus more on short-term or long-term? You know this is all telegraphed. There's only one person that needs this one. Go ahead, William, jump in.
Sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes, I could. Should companies focus more on short-term or long-term results? I figure given your experience in finance and your fresh view on things, what are your thoughts on that?
Sure, I think that's a great question. I think companies should very much, it depends. For a lot of these things, it depends, because sometimes the opportunity density is, really in the short term. Sometimes it's really in the long term. I think a company should always be thinking of, the long term play, especially in terms of risk, which, really determines how you want to invest your assets, whether you want to invest, in less liquid assets, and the less liquid that, your assets are, the more, sure you have to be in terms of that long-term investment. I would say something that's, similar for people is like a house. If you invest in the house because it's such an because it's moderately liquid, you don't have to care about it too much, but, that's kind of the sliding scale that you have for businesses when they're looking to, either focus on the short term, which, for short term stuff, you want to stay really flexible. You want to have as much cash as possible. But if you're thinking about the long term, that's when you can start investing in more illiquid assets like machinery, business space, like where you permanently purchase a business space, and other stuff like that. But that would be my answer for, how companies should, basically put their investment horizon for, their strategy.
Great. She knows a little about a lot and a lot about a medium amount of things. Dr. Gwynn, you must have a reaction to that.
Thank you, William, for the answer that you gave. You have the makings of a great politician. You went right down the middle of the road on this one, on short-term or long-term results for the company. But then you did something I thought was brilliant. You brought in about a house and talked about it being moderately liquid. What is moderately liquid? the room might be asking. That is a suggestion I would give you. If you're going to use that phrase, turn around and give us just a quick snippet of what that means for those of us that are not working in finance. But I enjoyed listening to you because I always view you as the up and coming politician, and you did that very, very well. Thank you for your speech.
Well done, Dr. Gwen. Always know the room and know that maybe everyone in the room doesn't know what you know. Here's one. If results didn't matter, what would you do differently in life? Shuriat, are you able to show your face and respond, or are you on break?
I am. My battery is low, so I have to switch. So can I pass?
You want to pass?
Yeah.
Okay, she's going to pass the baton. Nicole, if results didn't matter, what would you do differently in life? If you could unmute yourself. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
This is a great one, as I thought immediately of it. If results didn't matter, what would I do differently? Immediately, what comes to mind is following my passion was to be a doctor or to get my license in physical therapy and not fear the pathway to that process. Many times we fear the steps to get somewhere, and it limits us in taking the action that is really deep inside our heart. And so that's something that I would certainly do and charge forward and not be afraid, not allow fear to control what I am deciding upon. And when you think about it, really, the steps that we take a chance, and it's not failure, it's a chance that we took, and we can be courageous in that we took that chance. And whatever results we get, those are results. Results are meant for us to learn from that. And I wouldn't want to think that I avoided my passion or that I wanted to hide from that or obfuscate from what I really needed to do in my life. Thank you.
Wow, we had said earlier, Dr. Gwen, we were in church. I heard a little church there as well. Maybe a little Bible study on Thursday night. Pamela Brody, snap
Repeat
evaluation.
the question.
Ms. Howerton. Oh yeah, Tiriat.
Can you repeat the question?
That
The question
that Nicole just responded to?
Yes.
Yeah, she was saying if results didn't matter, what would you do differently? And then now Pamela's going to respond, going to give a snapper.
I'm going to catch that ball that you threw me, John. Thank you so much. And I just knew this was going to be my evaluation for some reason. Nicole, this is just an totally intuitive response, but I think that you are lovely and you have so much to offer. Some of the things that you said at the end about going after your passion, and you wouldn't want to think that you didn't go for, like, everything you said was really inspiring. And intuitively, I was like, you kept talking about fear, and I felt like you were just holding on to a little bit of fear. I felt that you had a little muted your voice inside of you. And if I would give you the most important thing, I would say, speak out, my friend, because you have such beautiful words. I think the only thing that's holding you back is you're swallowing your voice a little. And I feel like you're holding your passions back a little, almost like a train. There was no obfuscation there. You had everything there. The only thing was like, release it. I felt like release it and share with us. I also wanted to know that deep seed, the thing that we all know, one thing that we would be doing if it wasn't because of money or responsibilities. And I wanted you to share a little bit more of you because you're just beautiful. So thank you for joining us today.
Great. I think have one more question at a time for that. John Graham, are you available to respond? Or are you having timer fatigue? As much as we like table topic and snack evaluations, some timers never quite get over this experience. Where are you, man? What is your bandwidth?
Give it to me. I'm ready.
John, my only doubt is that, or concern is that there's not enough time, and I am telegraphing who's getting this one. Is happiness, John, a result or a process?
That's a very good question, John. Sometimes when I'm depressed, I think that maybe I'm not doing what I really want to do in life. Typically for me, I walk on the plus side of life. I try to create value for not only others, from myself. And if I'm not feeling that, then that means that I'm doing something wrong for me. So in terms of processing between being sad, being happy, and how I work with that, I have to look internally whenever I experience something that's makes me fearful or makes me sad, particularly sad. Yesterday, one of our neighbors died, and that made me sad. But then in conversation with my wife and things like that, I realized that this was somebody experiencing some pain. They just come back from the hospital. And maybe dying was not the worst outcome for them. So that's kind of turning a sadness into a positive response for that person. So I believe that that sadness and happiness and the way that we process those things is really an individual thing that varies depending upon the situation. And with that, I turn it back to you.
Well done. And timing himself at the same time. Chariot, your screen's back on. Are you have full capabilities and perhaps have time to respond to John Graham's?
Oh, for evaluation, no.
Okay.
I've never done this before.
All right. That's quite all right. I did want to offer. It wouldn't be polite of me. Vicky Trabosh, you want to respond to that?
I do.
And be an evaluator to a speech? You can multitask at MoE?
Go, I'm a Gemini. What do you want?
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Enough
John
said.
Graham, very good job. I loved your stories. I thought that your personal story was perfect. You show a vulnerability, and everyone should hear this. Whatever your message, when you add a very personal story, it goes home. I will remember your story about your neighbor and the sadness to joy, at least, well, longer than today. Here's my one suggestion. You opened with, that's a great question. That is you getting your cogs in gear. Instead of saying that, pause. You know what I would have loved your opening line to be? I walk on the plus side of life. You said that 3 or 4 sentences in, and I know that came from what you were saying. But when you grab us right away, I would have loved to hear you say that, and then the rest of your words would have flown from me. Nothing wrong with the way you started. I'm just trying to up-level your game, my friend. Great job. Thank you.
We've been given a reprieve. We have time for another round because we're going to 10:05. John Wooden once said, don't confuse activity with achievement. And in that mindset, I want to ask this question. What does getting results mean to you personally? Let's take advantage that this man is at an MoE meeting. We haven't seen much of him lately. Ray Sweeney.
You're too kind, John. Getting results. Let me flip the question back to you, the audience. What does it mean to you when you hear that? Getting results. Is it a work commitment? Is it a health commitment? Is it that new diet? Is it joining that gym? Is it starting that new lifestyle? As a financial advisor, is it about putting money away for retirement? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to me about getting results? The result for me today is actually attending this meeting. I'm going to just give myself a big tick because I haven't made it for about 4 weeks. And I'm so enriched when I turn up on this screen. Diversity is fantastic. Again, let's throw it back to you. I leave it with you. What does getting results mean for you? Back to you, John.
Any volunteers to take on this SNAP evaluation? It's the last one. It's coveted. It's trading in the market, William, like it's a scarcity. Who wants to jump in on this? Pamela, are you messing with your hair? And
Can I do it again? I don't know. I had an evaluation.
Oh, go ahead.
I am just
squared.
so happy to see Ray on this screen. I am so happy because every time Ray shows up, he brings it and he brings us to a whole nother level. So I'm so grateful that he showed up, he joined up, and every single time he delivers a icebreaker, it is not a response, it is a speech. It is incredible. It makes you think about yourself. It's crafted into this brilliant way that you're like, wait, did he get the answer before this came? And that being said, my little bit of wanting more, Ray, is I loved it. You made it for us to think about it, but I also wanted to hear about you. I also wanted to hear of a time where getting the result mattered to you or what you're up to. I wanted a little bit more of Ray inside, although the package was great. It was like a speech. You set up the speech, and I would have liked a little bit of more in Ray's sandwich. And then in the end. So thank you so much. Please come back. We love you.
That concludes table topics and SNAP evaluations. We were all involved. It was great. It's my pleasure to turn it over to a woman who's all about results and making sure the client and MoE members and guests have their back and have a successful experience. I'm, of course, talking about Victoria James, our general evaluator.
All right. Thank you, John. And thank you, everyone, for a great meeting today. Love the energy and enthusiasm from the beginning to the end. Sandra, you were more enthusiastic than I've ever seen you, I think, this morning. So something must have really, something about the theme, I'm guessing. We were on theme, we were on time. Smooth transitions, all inclusive. I love that.
Victoria, if I could just jump in, maybe your evaluation will also include your evaluation of the evaluators. So we might have the evaluators jump in and do their part, and you could comment, wrap that all up after them.
Gotcha. I was just rearing to go about this meeting. So I'm going to reintroduce Pamela Brody, who will be evaluating. You're evaluating Lynn? No, you're evaluating William. William, take it away, Pam.
Thank you so much, Victoria. William, wonderful. You took what is most people's first step, scary step, and you just raised the bar. Like you jumped light years to what most people come to Toastmasters to do. I must say I'm disappointed because every word was so dang good that I was jotting everything down that I wanted to almost have more time to see. It was just laid down with such precision and such mastery. As you shared your inner story, you taught us about you. But you weren't speaking at us. You crafted each part of you as a lesson for us. It was just fantastic. You said not only who you are, but why you are who you are. What brought you to that place? I wrote so many things down. The abstract became better. The way you crafted your words, it was a vision. You use senses. every single phrase you used had a sense of, you said the train hit me. You said everything we could feel viscerally as you explained it. I'm not sure how much time you spent on this speech, but it seems so incredibly well crafted. And if you didn't spend as much time as I would think you did, then that's even more awesome because it's inside of you and it seems effortless. I used to chase humility. We could all connect to that. Everything, we all know what it means to chase humility. You, at almost 30 years old, I'm almost 50 years old, and I can say, wow, everybody's gone through those things that you have just railroaded so much faster. You've learned so much. And as you share how you've come to where you come, we are all going on that journey with you together. This was an incredible speech. And the way you ended it, I am William Burt. I make tables. I could go fast enough. So much I couldn't.
I make tables, study money, and give a speech.
But then you said, which was incredible. And then you left us with, and I just taught a bunch of strangers about game theory, and the most strategic thing I did today. And this was
giving the speech. Yeah.
It was giving the speech, right? Mm-hmm. And that was so brilliant. One, not only did it excite us that you're here in this room and getting better, because as everyone says, we all see you as an incredible politician, but one we really want to get behind, but really someone who wants to make change, and whatever you do in your life, you will do it. The fact that you said it was most strategic, we knew that this was a leap for most 29-year-olds to show up on a screen with people who are many twice your age, that you have that openness. It was incredible. So we saw you, and also it inspired us to take our speeches even more seriously, to craft our speeches. So it was truly incredible. I would say the to work on would be the top of your speech. When you came in, you said something like, I'll get into it, or you had a little bit of intrigue that felt a little insecure. Just, you don't need any of that. Just come right out with the speech. Just give it to us. We're here and we want it. And
yeah, I was afraid to attack a little too hard, just like, go in and, but it's still like 9 a.m. over here. So I was just like, okay, let's kind of work our way into it.
Yeah, you don't need any of that, because when you get paid to speak, they're not going to want that set up either. You're just going to come and deliver it. Right? You don't need any of the I think a lot of us feel that we need to put ourselves down a little bit because we're almost insecure at how great we are. You get to be great, and you get to come at it and just give it your all. I would also say the other thing would possibly be, again, I was writing down because your words were so freaking great and not obfuscate, that you could work on a little bit, maybe the memorizing, which is going to be something for you to work on. So the more and more you do deliver speeches and you give them, you're going to work on that. And I do want to say one thing, this wasn't my role, but in your table topic, you said a lot of and you weren't as confident as you were in your speech. So I would work on that. That's actually probably going to be really most helpful, because you were talking about finance. So I had a moment on my hat going, wow, if I came to him for finance, he seems a little insecure with the ups and the don't, So as you strengthen all of that in your speaking, it will go everywhere in your life.
Okay. Yeah.
So fantastic. Can't wait for the next one. And I also want to congratulate you and applaud you for doing the pathways. And as you keep doing the pathways assignments, you will grow. So thank you. And for all of us, we get to grow with you.
Yeah. If you really enjoyed my speech, I actually just published a book on Amazon, The Genius Equation. So you could always check that out too.
Put it in our WhatsApp group if you would, okay? So we can all check that out. That's so fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Pamela.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
All right. William, great job. I'm wondering what value you've received from this evaluation from Pamela. What are your takeaways going to be?
I would basically like to see myself, take a little bit more ownership over the impact that I want to impact on people, the mark that I want to leave, and see if I can be really successful with doing that. Because, obviously, I think, there was a lot of like potential, to, leave some kind of a lasting remark. And I think that can be improved greatly, with, Pamela's recommendation to memorize it. And then Vicky mentioned to me privately about facial expressions. That one's kind of tough because I grew up in like a military family a little bit. So, I kind of have this monotone all the time, but that's something that, I got a lot of value out of from seeing that.
Great. Well, practice makes perfect, and that's why we do the pathways, because we'll improve on all of this stuff. All of it's baked in. So our next evaluator is Vicky Trabosh evaluating Lynn.
Now,
do you have an evaluation?
No, Vicky Trabosh is going to evaluate Mary Pryor. No, Mary Pryor, you can move right on.
Okay. All right. So I'm not going to repeat the positives I gave about the meeting.
Isn't it Ray?
Sorry, it's Ray Sweeney has to evaluate Lynn.
Oh, I'm sorry. Take it away, Ray.
Sure, no problem. Can I get the timer? Yeah, top right-hand corner. Fantastic. There was nothing obfuscated about today's presentation from Lynn. Can I get a show of hands in the audience? Who is glad they turned up today? Oh, yes, we were treated. Absolute gem. And I love the way you opened, Lynn, reminding us that at 88, anything is possible by sharing your worldly wisdom and feedback to William straight off the bat before you began your presentation. I'm going to share what I loved about your presentation and what I believe could elevate it even higher. Some feedback for you, if I may. You opened with this wonderful historical story told with images, sharing a piece of your life and how you worked as a photographer and how you still do. And your main goal, you shared your main goal to us, and that was the journey from unknown child all the way through to where you are now. Remarkable images. They're showing warmth, real life, defining different eras. And I think it ties well with today's meeting. Expect results. Your presentation and your life story is how you can expect results. Who wasn't enthralled with this presentation? We had Billie Jean King and black and white images, Julia Childs. We were watching history unfold. Now, I, like many of the audience members, I think, were looking forward to this one. We were all turning up with our ears wide open. There was so much information, so much that it was hard to absorb it all per slide. I loved your underlying message, and that was probably the biggest takeaway as well from today, was from failure, don't focus on the recognition, don't focus on the money, look for the joy. So how do we take this presentation and elevate it to new heights? Well, if I may, it was all a bit fast. Slow it down. Every slide could be a speech in itself. We need to hear that story. And because it comes out so quick, sometimes it's monotone. I would also say, work on the vocal variety. Take us on that roller coaster of emotion. Take us up and take us down. Secondly, your on-screen helper could have been a lot smoother. Now, I know it's hard to get quality staff, but guys, I think you need to prepare it just a little bit more beforehand, just to get it smooth. So we talked about the speed, we talked about vocal variety, and my third point would be to you is to turn it to the audience. Question them. Pause. Ask them how they would feel in that situation. Involve them in the message, in the story, because otherwise you're just delivering a monologue. In conclusion, such a wealth of material. You took us from limbo to legit, a life well lived, and there was nothing obfuscated about today's presentation. Lynn, you are a treasure for our club, and long may you be celebrated. Back to you.
I think we can all agree with that. So, Lynn, how is this falling with you? What are you going to take away from Ray's evaluation?
Well, the thing, I just have to tell you all something, that the person who was supposed to come on with me was going to come on. We had a time because I gave him the time. And because I was put earlier, I got stuck in limbo. And, you know, about doing it myself. And I had turned over to Vicky and I said, I can't do that, you know, because you can't say next. It doesn't work. So I apologize again. This shouldn't have happened. And I've worked on it like crazy. I've done it over and over again and kept deleting stuff. And I realize that as I do, can I see everybody? Because I hate being on like this. I'm only seeing me and one other person. Is there, what I like seeing is that I realized that I covered so much territory that it would, thank you. It was very hard to change the quality of my voice. It's like, oh my God, I have to hit this, and this. I have my notes here that I was going through, and I realized I had timed it over and over again. And you're right. I don't know how to cut it down. I cut it way down. So I have to figure it out. I also have to figure out, because I have been told at times I have a monotone voice and I've got to work on it. And that's a big deal for me. So I'm grateful, because that's what I love being in this club. One of the reasons is I get the real honest feedback, and that's a huge help. So, and turning it around in a question, it's like, first of all, I was in such shock that I had to do myself, because Colin was coming on with me. I had told him 9:38. So there I was stuck. So next time I will figure out how to do this again. The other thing is I don't know how to do the chat. I still don't know how to do chat. There's so much in there. So I apologize for that. It was a big help and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Lynn. Do we have a grammarian report?
We do. Thank you all. I wasn't listening a lot for the ahs and ums and so's, but I heard a number of them. Very interesting, William, to let you know, you were told during your speech you were ahhing and umming. And do you know, during your response to your feedback, you had 8 you knows. Now, do I know? Do I really know? I want you to listen back to the recording and see how many clutch words you have. Slow it down and you won't get it. Excellent feedback, Pamela, on that. Not to obfuscate my role, John, you used it once. Nicole, you used it once. Pamela, twice. Once you pronounced it right, Pamela. Once you kind of tripped over it, which was cute. Ray, you used it twice. We didn't use it enough in my book. It's not an easy word, but obfuscate is a word we should know. It's making something unclear. And whatever we do, we should be clear in our evaluations and speeches. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Thank you, Vicki. And now I will give the actual General Evaluator report. As I said earlier, great meeting, great enthusiasm. Love that we stayed on theme. Love the welcoming environment for the guests, and it wasn't too pushy. Nobody was put on the spot. We really struck the right balance there. We always have our agenda almost completely filled up before the meeting. I love that, but I think today we got a little off of the agenda from the start. What was missing for me was the introductions of each role. And that kind of got me a little bit off kilter. I think everyone here is a Toastmaster, so it was kind of okay for today, but just something to keep in mind. The recording of tomorrow was well done. I noticed if she's watching the video, she's really trying to work on that balance between rocking and not being too still. Zoom Master, you did a great job bringing that in. Greetings of the guests, again, were warm, and I love that everyone was asked if they were willing multiple times. John White, Table Topics Master, also checked in. Do you feel comfortable? Is it today your day? Is this your question? On that note, John is just the quintessential Table Topics Master. I don't think there could be a better one. He's an MC. He's a comedian. He handles it like an improv game, and I just love that. It's always so much fun, and to be honest, table topics are what bring me back to Toastmasters the most. I also want to improve, so let's see. For the other roles, Sandra really sold everybody, I think, on MoE's mission. Like I said before, I loved your vibes and your enthusiasm. Between you and Vicky, you set a great tone for this meeting. Pamela came in a little empty-handed on the intro to William's speech. Not an easy situation to be put in, but you recruited Sandra's help, you kept it moving along, so that was like a really good correction on your part, Pamela. Word of the day was hard. It was hard to pronounce. I wasn't quite sure how it connected to the theme of the meeting either, but that's just me. I think that it was hard, but I think it was kind of the perfect balance. We don't want a word of the day that's too easy either. And that is my general evaluator report for today. Love seeing everybody. Great job.
Thank you, Victoria. I want to ask our guests today, since Victoria gave us an evaluation of the meeting, I'd like your evaluation. What's your one takeaway from today? Try it.
One takeaway, I would say that this is something that I haven't seen in other clubs, is that you evaluate the table topic impromptu, and that is like hard. And I come to this club because your club is master of evaluation, and evaluation is a tough part for me. So I want to learn. So that's why I come today.
Excellent. And that's why I stay with this club. I love the evaluations that do actually give you honesty. Nicole, what did you take away 1 or 2 points from today?
Well, I enjoyed the intriguing conversation, the speeches. I especially enjoyed the sincere evaluations that were really authentic. And evaluation is something that is, as was said, difficult. It can be difficult if we choose. It's something that I need to improve upon, which is why I wanted to visit again. So I thought it was great. The meeting was flowed well, and I enjoyed it.
Excellent. If the two of our guests would like to join me in a breakout room after the meeting is about to conclude, please stick around and we can chat. But at this point, I'm going to ask our club president, Vicky, what did you get out of today's meeting?
Oh, what a good question. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. We had things that didn't work, but we were prepared. When I saw Mary wasn't available, I jumped in as grammarian. Did it occur to me to think about a word that had to do with the theme? Not a chance. And my bad. I should be quicker than that. So I really appreciated all the honest and kind feedback people got today. Back to you.
Thank you. And in just a minute, we're going to do a couple things. We're going to split into a special room for our guests. But I want to ask everyone, Ray is our overseas guest, but can you tell from his background where he is today?
Church.
Never. Any guess?
Rome, Spain.
I'm going to give you a clue. All right, I was born in Ireland.
Dublin.
That's a clue?
And Nicole is getting warmer.
Not Spain. Let's see.
Somewhere historical.
In Ireland.
France? Italy?
Okay, I'm going to give it to you because it's too cryptic, right? It's Temple College, Trinity College in Dublin, and this is the library. It's a beautiful library.
Wow.
Oh, you're
Take us all there so we know what
The
it's
background, yeah.
Very
It's not Hogwarts. It's not Hogwarts.
like.
very cool.
There you go. Quiz
All
question.
I am going to open up our breakout room for Triet and Nicole to join me. And then Vicky, you are co-host. I believe you'll still have the room.
So thank you all for being here today. These meetings really matter to me. And I want to tell you how much I learn from each of you and how much I appreciate you all. And especially to our guests, thank you, Tarat, for being here. We loved having you here. You're always welcome back. Come and learn from us. Don't be intimidated. We all were starting and we're learning, but we raised the level. So that's really good. Anyone else have anything to say for the good of the order?
I want to thank John Graham for putting those times in the chat when he wasn't called on, because I improved because I have the gift of gab. The timer report is so important to me. Thank you.
Good point. So when we look at evaluations, I want you to really look at your times and say, did I go long? What we say in 5 minutes, could we have said in 3? And often I find that evaluations, we don't get to the point soon enough. It's dessert we're looking to eat, right? Even as kids, we want to eat dessert first. And dessert is the feedback. Everything else is the meal. I just need to get through the meal to get dessert. So get to your dessert first. If you want to say something nice, please do, but don't go on too long about that. Don't go on about your own reflections on what it meant to you. Help the speaker elevate their talk, because practice makes what?
Perfect.
Permanent.
Better,
Makes
better, not
no.
necessarily perfect.
Practice makes permanent. You practice okay, if I started playing the trumpet today, which would be hella fun with my mouth, but let's say I try. And I keep practicing and I don't have a coach. Am I going to get better? Practice does not make perfect. Practice will make permanently worse. So we practice to get better, and practice makes permanent, not perfect. And not better, only better if we're learning. So keep learning, keep practicing, and know that you all make a difference. I will get this meeting recorded and out. For just a sec, Pamela, I'll call on you. For those of you who gave a speech or gave feedback, watch it without the sound. Watch your face. Get your movements. Listen without watching. So you can hear your words, hear your monotone if you do that, and then put it all together. It's the only way you're going to get better. Because I noticed a lot of monotone. I also noticed a lot of lack of facial features. But you don't know that you're doing that unless you watch it. So watch it without listening and see how you look on screen. Yes, Pamela.
Ray was great because he asked for the timer on the corner. I didn't have the timer in the corner at all because I didn't know to ask for that. Can we make sure that when we go into that place that the timer's put on the corner so that people?
Yeah, John fell off. I don't know
there.
what happened, John. Your hand was up and then it went down.
If I say something in the meeting, my hand goes down.
Oh, who knew?
What's that?
I did not know that.
Well, watch. Next time that your timer.
Okay, put your hand up. Put your hand up. Okay, now say something.
Okay, I'm saying something now. Well,
Yes.
this time it didn't go down.
Uh-uh.
But if I'm saying something in the meeting, sometimes it lowers automatically.
Sometimes when you're talking, you'll get that message at the bottom, will lower your hand in 15 seconds or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what happened, John, because it's not going down.
Yeah, now it isn't. You're right.
But timer, always remember, if it falls down, if you now it did you just take your hand down?
I didn't do anything.
All right, timer.
So if you stay on, your microphone stays on for a certain length of time, it drops the hand.
Good to know. Good
So
tip.
Pamela, I'm sorry, I didn't notice that it had gone down, but
It's okay.
But I try to make an effort to always have myself up in the left-hand corner.
Yeah.
If I was timer, I wouldn't know that. So that's an important thing that we all know to tell the timer as well. So we learned. That's why I do want to say something though. I don't understand. Like John is the most incredible Toastmaster. We all know John White. He's all the time is just killing it. And he was so worried about doing ice table topics today, and you killed it. So often we do table topics and we're not reminded that you say the table topic and wait for people to think about it because they might be on the hot seat. And a lot of times people don't do that. So you nailed it with the topics. You had us all worried that we were going to be called. We were all engaged, and you were just fantastic, John. So thank you.
The only thing, John, because you know me, Miss Sunshine here, you were ready to kill us off on table topics at 2 minutes to the hour. And if you look at your agenda, we had till 10:05. So
I was responding to a text, to a chat, so I understand.
Yeah, no, it's each of our jobs to watch the agenda. If we get a rogue text from somebody says wrap it up, make sure you should wrap it up. Because I sent down John a message, I was like, we have till 10:05. We need to give everybody as much time as possible on table topics.